His breathing was good. He wasn't breaking out in hives and stuff like that. But okay, Loki's happy. He's bringing me over this ball here. Oh, yeah. So he's not allowed to have too much of an aggressive day today, but he's still finding ways to get into his toys and playing around. This was actually a hidden, but he found it. So yeah, Loki. Okay, all right. Okay, but yeah, happy Monday, everybody. I know it's not the Monday we were hoping for here, but at least technicals are kind of working in our favor, I guess, right now. Let's talk about that, I guess. There you go. And hey, Kevin. Hey, Abby. Hope you guys are both doing well. I'm not entirely sure why they rejected your KYC. I might try again, but if not, I can always try to get you in touch with my contact, which may be able to help out or speed up the process at least. But I'm not entirely sure. But let me know if you need more help with that. As far as the copy trading, I don't think I've done much copy trading over the past few weeks. I need to start that up again. Basically, when I go into this copy trading thing, I'm hitting this dilemma basically because... Oh, what is that? It's not following. Oh, cool. Okay, sweet. Move that over there. I don't know why that was so off. There we go. Okay. But anyway, let me turn my volume at the same time. But anyway, AC Norris is also my grandfather, so just in case you guys are wondering. But anyway, I've been hitting this dilemma based on the copy trading. Because the way I've done copy trading, it's supposed to make more money over time, and then you lose some positions, but overall it's supposed to be net positive. And the way I've done it, something's gone wrong in my estimations because I can kind of see if people are making money or if they're losing money, you know, how much is going on. And I would say only about 3/4 of you guys that are following me are maybe making a profit off of it. One person I think is made over... Okay, let me see. I can check it out. I just can't show you guys because... From my point of view, it has like your emails or portions of your emails attached to what I'm doing. So I don't want to show you guys a whole bunch of emails, but let me see if I can find it out here. Copy trade. Okay. For example, there's this one guy or gal. They've made $823 following me on copy trading. That's a pretty big, that's a good amount of money. I'm happy with it. But then right below it, there's a person that's lost $233 copying my trades. Then there's a person that's made $100. Then there's a person that's lost $89. Then there's a person that won $40 or made $40. Then one that made $80. Then one that lost $369. Then there's one that lost $23. Then there's one that made $10. And then there's one that made $1,023. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Or maybe I just need to change up the settings in a way that fixes things up a little bit, I would say. Because it's not the results I'm really looking for. I'm trying to figure out a way to make, like, you know, bring up everybody, if that makes sense. But the last 90 days, I haven't really done much trading on it. I think the trades I have been doing haven't been the best anyway. So I'm going to try to recalibrate it and rework it and see if that works. But so far, it's been kind of a meh type of thing, right? Hey, Trev, Walden Studios. Hope you guys are both doing good. Astro, Tony, happy to see you guys back. And Nicholas. Let me go back over here. Loki's doing okay. I've been pretty much, like I told you, he just got vaccine. He got like 5 vaccines. So I've been watching like a hawk and making sure he's perfectly fine. And he's full of energy, unless I'm not full of energy. But I can't. He's not allowed to go running and exercising today. And the vet was adamant, but he's still finding ways to move around. But I'm trying to make sure, you know, playing with toys is one thing. Running outside for an hour, I guess, is another thing. So hopefully he's fine with that. Okay, but let's back up here and let's talk about Bitcoin here. There is a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so I know I took some flack over the last few weeks. Every now and again I peek into the 24/7 streams quite a bit just to make sure they're working and everything's fine. I knew I got some flack on when we bounced off of support over here that all of a sudden we weren't going to crash. I told you guys I was not going to be buying in unless the daily chart kind of went more bullish here and we got some more optimism. Yeah, we came close to having an opportunity here. You saw right here the momentum was coming up just a little bit. The stochastic was still close, but with an opportunity to break out. So if we had a pump right up here, basically, we could have turned around. And the RSI was actually, frankly, still negative. It sucks, but there's that breakdown that we've been talking about. Now we kind of have to figure out what goes on next. Not today. Perhaps tomorrow we're going to also have this death cross coming on the 20-day, between the 20-day and the 50-day moving averages. I'm going to stock this up to a win to technical analysis for now. As far as understanding that this breakdown was happening, there was some, second guessing and stuff like that going on for sure, because nobody wanted to see Bitcoin break down here. What I'm going to do very fast is actually just get rid of this because we weren't able to break out, unfortunately. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we've already talked about these levels of support and resistance. I'm not going to put them down like at 38, 37, 36,000. There's a bunch of different ways you can view them. Typically what I would do for you guys who maybe don't care about having your chart maybe a little bit too cluttered, just go over here and add a couple Fibonacci levels on, both starting from the same standpoint or beginning and end point, and then just have one of them ticked off with a fib level based on log scale, and then you'll get your next little cluster right here. Now, you could add a whole bunch on here, and there are other ones that kind of match up with this, a little bit below, above, but right here is that good medium. So right now you're thinking of a support kind of between $36,000 and $37,000. I think there's something to be said though if we go right over here. See this little bit of resistance right up here around 38,000. I think there should be something there as well. I don't think that's necessarily going to be as strong, but there should be something there where we might have a little bit of a short-term bounce. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. But right now, let me go back over here to, is this the Coinbase one? Nope, it's not. Oh, this doesn't even have what I'm looking for. This is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, this is the one I'm thinking of. Okay, let's get rid of all the data there. As far as the weekly charts are concerned, I know we went negative a few weeks back, all the way back in December. We really didn't go up much despite having all the good news and stuff. The RSI, of course, are negative. Next week, it looks like we are going to be turning negative with the MACD as well. I'm interested to see how bad things get, but again, at this point in time, I'm not predicting something taking us back down to 32,000, 31,000. In my opinion, I think we're still in a kind of a bull market. I know we're looking at a pullback here, but maybe, at the very worst, I'm hoping the very worst, we might see somewhere around 36,000. Going back in time a little bit, I know I talked to you guys about this in a video this morning. Basically, we've been in these situations before where everything's been bearish, bearish here, bearish here. We had a big old fat sell signal on the weekly charts. Well, that sell signal really only took us down, you could say, about 14% as far as Bitcoin's concerned, since we had the signal. And let's say, well, it's kind of hard to tell because we don't have the signal yet, but let's just assume it's today, a 14% drop for Bitcoin. That brings us right back down here to about $33,000. I don't think that's justified just right now, especially because, let me back up here. We're looking at some of these moving averages as support. It's not always going to, well, I guess we could break down below the 20, but I really hope, I really hope not. But yeah, I'm hoping that this little level of support over here will be enough to kind of save Bitcoin. If we do end up falling back down, again, I don't think it's the end of the world, but I understand a lot of people might. This is all just going to be a great exercise for getting to buy more cryptocurrencies as far as I'm concerned. I bought a few over the last few days. I bought more Fetch AI, and I bought more NMR, and I bought more, I don't know. Let me go over here very fast. Just a bunch of, I was looking for a bunch of AI different picks to add to my my watch list here. Let me see if I can find them. Let's see. Oh, I made a rookie mistake. Look at this. So I told you guys I bought some Fetch AI. I think I might be getting to some dyslexia or something. I knew there was a good chance of it falling down. Don't get me wrong, okay? But basically, I ended up making the trade at a 20x multiplier and not a 2x multiplier. So basically, instead of being down like 17%, I'm down basically like 172% or negative $230. I'm actually just going to close that one and take the loss because I made a stupid mistake. And I'm just going to double check to make sure everything else is actually at 2x. Everything is. Then I'm going to, I'm going to literally just put $200 in there with a 2x leverage and confirm there and there. And now I have a new average, but that will always, I'll have to remember that I lost $200 here. Basically, I was down $900, but because I took out that $200 something loss, now I'm just down $700 in the dollar cost averaging. We'll see how this works out. I've been adding more and more money to this, so, you know, I know it looks bad, but this is why I'm dollar cost averaging, so my positions are fine. But yeah, that was brutal. Sometimes I just make a fool out of myself, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll live without it. Actually, I went to a cigar lounge the other day, Smoky Joe's in Fife, Washington. It's a nice little place. I just found it out, and I smoked a couple cigars, watched a couple of the playoff games, as some of you guys maybe saw my tweets. And what ended up happening was after I was done, I realized that I was kind of still buzzed. I didn't want to drive home buzzed. And I didn't really have much alcohol, but just the tobacco buzz in the air and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I can wait a little bit. I don't have to drive home now. So I went downstairs, pulled out $100 just to gamble on some Buffalo thing because I wanted to try their slot machines because basically, how do I describe it? Their slot machines are bingo style, so they're not real slots. Slots are just for entertainment purposes, but I'm actually playing bingo the entire time. But anyway, I ended up winning a couple $100, so that cut like $250. So that $250 basically lost. And making a dumb mistake, but I'll be fine in the long term. But oh man, that sucks. But anyway, guys, yeah, I'm really looking for the support level down here, kind of around 37,000. We may have a little bit of a bounce coming around 38,000, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to be the bottom of this move that we're seeing, especially because it should be a multi-week drop. As annoying as that may sound, but if you look at it this way, we've actually been falling for the past 3 weeks now. So yeah. Okay, so. A few other things before I start answering some of your guys' questions. I'm going to take off the Fibonacci levels for now. And I just want to remind you guys that we are kind of in this bearish new way. We'll see how it goes. Technicals seem to be correct so far. We'll wait to see what happens next. But I know there was a lot of back and forth, kind of like, do we trust the oscillators? Are we really going to hold and stuff like that? And those teetering things. And I guess maybe I had been talking about it for too long. But I think the message got kind of numbed out. But it seems like we actually did have that breakdown here. Now, again, before I start answering questions and stuff like that, the stock market's still doing fine. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, SPY, all ripping right now. If you're in tech, you're happy. I'm still shaving out of my tech. I did buy a little bit more into oil. We'll see if that actually does anything special here. I know we don't talk about oil too much, but, you know, it's still kind of going sideways here. Schlumberger going up a little bit. And I bought some OXY. There we go. Weekly charts. I'm hoping they kind of hold these levels. If they don't, I'll survive. Their margins and dividends, are pretty fine for me. Okay, let's go back over here, back to Bitcoin. Now, okay. Here's where things get a little bit more messy, I would say. But we'll work around it. We'll find a way. So, Ethereum is bearish on the stochastic and the RSI, but it's still pretty bullish on the MACD. We'll see what happens. Now you're just hoping that over the next week or so, Ethereum manages to hold the support level kind of around $2,152. We don't really want to start breaking down below that. We can, but we don't want to close below it. I think it's probably the safe way to view it. But consolidation, all these moving averages are all coming up bit by bit here. So there is a chance we're going to have like a weird level of support here beyond just this level right here, this order block. We'll see. Everything's about to turn bearish. The daily chart, everything turned bearish just a few days ago, a few days before the drop here. I was hopeful that Ethereum might have a pop. Remember, every influencer in the mother for some reason on Twitter was promoting Ethereum, saying it was going to pop just a few days ago. The only, like I said, it actually looks pretty good. The only reason I told you guys I'm not buying it is because Bitcoin looks so abysmal, and kind of we're seeing how Bitcoin went out here. Bitcoin doesn't always win out. So you kind of have to make that gamble, but I would say more often than not, Bitcoin does win out here. So keeping a close eye on Ethereum, waiting to see if it comes back down to 2,100 or something like that. Maybe I'll start buying in, but I'm taking this easy right here. Dollar index, although it's not the biggest thing at this moment in time, it's trying to break out here. It's trying to go higher. We'll see if it does. If we have the secondary move, it's going to make things a little bit worse. On top of that, you do see a lot of Bitcoin flowing from those ETFs and kind of the good and the bad of that right now. So far, I would say it's probably just breaking even, but you are hearing some stories of BlackRock and stuff selling some, or I think it's BlackRock or somebody like that. Back over here, ADA flush. I mean, just look at that. That thing is ready to collapse. So I'm watching it closely. Like ADA could come all the way back down to like 41 cents, which from 48 cents, I know it doesn't sound like a lot. That's like a move of like 15%. Dogecoin, this one kind of has a weird level of support right here, kind of around like 7.5 cents. I'm waiting to see what happens. You guys know we had the pop last week off of the news about Elon Musk, X, new payment account and stuff like that. But so far, it doesn't look like it's really led to a longer lasting pump here. AMP tried to have a pump earlier today, really did. Look at the daily chart. Look at that. It tried to have a small pump right there, just like it did a few days ago. It's not able to break out, and it's like it's trying hard. So this is, if there's one thing you want to put your hopes on, that's something that's bullish and you just want to go for YOLO, AMP seems to be that thing right now. Other things, Ape token at a support level, ready to flush. This is kind of where I was on the weekly charts. Not looking good. Arbitrum ready to come down. AVAX ready to, well, AVAX is already actually breaking down right now. AXS close, not as bearish as others, but it's there. Bitcoin Cash, I'm interested in this one. I think it's going to break down here if Bitcoin continues its downward move towards $37,000, $36,000. But you see how it's basically just been hugging the 20-week moving average here? Like, look at this. Hugging. It's just been holding up. It's a miracle here. So we'll watch it closely to see if it actually does break down. But interesting to kind of watch it not fall down at all, just kind of holding. Other things out there, BNB's fine. Crow, see how it's already breaking down right now. Comp, not terrible actually. Ethereum Classic, it had a pop a few weeks ago. It's coming back down, unfortunately. Don't have to worry about this breakdown because it already broke down a while ago. Anything else? ICP, be careful of ICP. And STMX, my favorite, one of my favorites. That's a lot, so it could flush down here as well. Spell token, that one can come back all the way down here to 0.000431, which isn't going to be good. Oh, and Matic, I should move this up here a little bit. There you go, Matic. Oh yeah, Matic can definitely break down below the support level over here, or you can think about it as the 20-week moving average. So you're seeing a lot of stuff kind of go bearish here on the weekly charts, which I'm not a fan of. But again, we've been here before. We only dropped down 14% for Bitcoin. 14% for Bitcoin's quite a bit for altcoins, of course. But you know, one could say we're in a much more bullish mindset as a market as a whole. So I do think there's still a chance that maybe we don't even drop down to 36,000, but it's going to be an abnormal shock to the market, one that I'm not really going to be buying into, waiting for some type of abnormal poof shock, you know, right? I'm going to be waiting for a few things, and you guys know what those are. I won't necessarily wait for the weekly charts to go positive as far as the oscillators are concerned, but the daily ones, yeah, I'd like to see these turn bearish before I start buying up loads of crypto again, as far as buying and holding for maybe a few days. Day trading, sure, you can kind of have fun and mix things up a little bit, but if you want to be more consistently correct on your trades, you know, it's going to make it a little bit difficult. The 4-hour chart, look at this. This is what the 4-hour chart got us when the daily chart was negative and the weekly chart was more mixed. Look at that. Oop. Bullish right here, bullish right here, bullish right here. Again, the daily chart was not bullish, so it's kind of harder to make this trade. But still, it just brought us into sidewaysness. Then we kind of came right here. There's a big sell signal from here. The stochastic had a sell signal here, and the RSI had a sell signal over here. I typically am fine with taking all three, although some of you guys like to do two. I just like to wait for all three. And regardless, even if I waited over here for my sell signal, I still ended up making a good amount of profit before that dump came along. So not the best results. I'm happy the technicals kind of gave us a heads up this was coming, but the way that some of these jolts happened, you could definitely tell somebody didn't want us to break down. Like there was some hope that we could hold support. It just wasn't there. We tried, and then nothing happened for the following like 2 days. Look how boring that is as far as a Bitcoin trader. Go over here to the 15-minute chart for you very fast. That's nothing. These swings are from like 41,500 to 41,880. It's like a $400 swing. 400 for it. That's not going to make a day trader much money in this environment, unless they're of course trading maybe some altcoins out there. That could be a little bit nicer. But yeah, definitely not the best of days, but we'll survive. This is just an opportunity for a lot of people to buy some up. Right now, we're not crashing and burning. We're trying to hold this support level right here, kind of around 39,429. We'll see what happens next. And of course, after some of these drops, sometimes you guys might want to buy off of the 20. I'm just not doing it. It doesn't look that profitable to me right now, but I could definitely be wrong in the morning. I think I'm just a little bit more worried about the ultimate. What happens? Are we going to wake up for a little bit, then come back down even more tomorrow? Do today's day candle. That's pretty much what I'm concerned about. All right. Let's see. Hey, Arlick, happy to see you back. And Moo, it's about time technical stop getting ignored. Hey, Mr. Gruden. I mean, there are different type of traders out there, I think, and we all kind of have our own ways of going. Even with me, I've been talking about this move coming down for quite a bit of time. But there was a few things that had to evolve for me to get more, hey guys, watch out for this. Because a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, I was giving you guys something. I was like, hey, I think a bearish move is happening. And it wasn't related to this move specifically, but I was like, okay, on the daily, like the weekly chart, we were still bullish. That's kind of like made me okay, that looks fine. That means I don't have to be so afraid. But I was like, this doesn't look good. And then what would happen? We would have a day of like falling down 1,000, 2,000 points. However, right after that, we would find a floor fast, and then we would spike back up. So it made it hard to short for multiple amounts of days because everybody was still very excited about the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And what basically happened is, what you guys know what happened, the complete ineptitude of the SEC and kind of how they handled the situation, which is unfortunate because, most of the average people at the SEC are probably really good people, right? It's just those figureheads, so to speak, they really rolled this out in a very bad way. So after we had that announcement and Bitcoin really didn't have an opportunity to pump all too much, well, then the same technicals that showed up again a third time, along with, you see the weekly charts turning bearish now as well, that was kind of enough for me to be like, hey guys, just be aware this could be happening. But as far as like my mental mistake here, I didn't have a good enough time really timing this drop, right? I thought we might have a move like back over here. I was like, okay, this is where we start to fall. What happened? We came down, spiked back up, and then we fell down, today obviously. But this move over here, that was all the way on Friday. So we had pretty much a lackluster weekend, and once Monday started back up, everything was bad. Hey, Loki. Can't tell if somebody's at the door or not. He's been much more territorial lately. Well, I'll keep an eye on it. Kind of have a viewpoint on my stairs, I think. But anyway, there are a lot of people out there who don't like technicals, or they use their own technical analysis, and that's perfectly okay. It's just that I think it matters. I just think you have to understand that when we do our technical analysis, we're kind of predicting where the price is going in the future. We're not necessarily finding the best time to hop in. It's kind of like, okay, we're seeing all these warning signs. We could hop in now, but the market's been volatile, yada, yada, yada. So, wait and see. What this is telling me now that we're kind of like, how do I explain this? The last week, 2 weeks, everything's been neutral. So the weekly chart, right, is mixed signals. So if I go over here, stochastic, negative, MACD, positive, RSI, negative. That's mixed. So not everything was pointing down. Now, and now we have that change of character that we're looking for as well. So that kind of signals maybe more bearish moves ahead. We'll come back to that in a little bit. The daily chart, though, was all bearish since right here. So in hindsight now, if you would have just opened up a short right here, Sure, you would have been fine if it went up a little bit and your stop loss isn't going to be right there. But ultimately, it kept on going down more and more and more. So that's kind of the way to go. I think the reason that I didn't really hop in there as much as I wanted to was just because the last few times we've talked about these signals, right? See how we had the signal right here, bearish, 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 but the weekly one was still bullish, so we didn't really take the trade, right? That one, another sell signal right here, bearish. It went down a little bit, but not as much as you want because the weekly chart's still looking good in the stochastic, right? This is bearish, this is bullish, this is bearish, bullish, bearish right here. I think just because the day of. But you know, if you took a short right here, you're very disappointed. And we knew that going in through all of these because of what we saw happen right here. This was the trending setup that made me stop doing all those shorts over here, which is why we didn't take the shorts. Now, remember, a sell signal right here, crash down the next day. However, again, you know, 6% profit, or you can even see at the end of the day right here, 5% profit. You know, next day it's up like 9%. Then what happened? It crashed back down because everything was still negative, of course. This time, still negative. Everything crashed down. You just don't play around with it. Finally, we're starting to see everything realign. Unfortunately for us, it's on the bearish side. But, oh, that's what happened. Okay, sorry. I was trying to figure out what happened, but I moved this, moved the price action concepts onto my MACD instead of being on my, my chart. And you can even see that today, after yesterday's close, we now have a change of character that's bearish, 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 and everything. You're most likely to see this coming back down. So if you're looking to take a short, you're probably looking for this to bounce up sometime today. You want to take a short on that. And your stop loss is going to be all the way up here on like 41,900 or so, which is a pretty large stop loss if you ask me. But maybe there's something on the 1 hour chart here. Yeah, 40,900 instead of all the way back up here, 41,000. But yeah, basically, I respect technical analysis. Sometimes I don't even believe it with my own eyes, so that's why I kind of get the people that don't understand it or don't like it. Like I could have shorted back over here when I was saying, you guys, here's all the signals, but I was just like, you know what? I'm sitting on my hands. Like I see it, like death cross, crossovers, bearish. Sometimes even me, I just sit on my hands when I shouldn't do it, you know, when I shouldn't, but sometimes you're just kind of worried. Right? Sometimes you're just kind of worried about what you've been seeing over the past few weeks. I'll try to come close to making the time mistake using the wrong leverage. I'm sure you'll make it back. Oh yeah, I'll make it back. I'm not too concerned about it, but it definitely does make it a little bit more of a hassle. I love the Buffaloes. Buffaloes is always easy money. If you go back, try Pandas even better. I haven't tried the Pandas before. I'm not a large gambler. Like when I go to Vegas, I gamble just a little bit, but it's like on a top dollar or a pinball machine usually. Buffaloes, that one's pretty fun. I haven't played it in forever, but I enjoyed it. I had like 30 free games, which I never get 30 free games. And then from there, I ended up... what did I end up doing? Oh yeah, I just ended up chilling and waiting for it to count my money. Normally, if I'm playing a slot game, I'll like push the button as it's like outstanding win, and I'll just push it and it kind of keeps spinning. This time, I let everything outstanding, great win, something like that. I let it count all the money, then it could play the next spin. So it was pretty nice. Mike, I'm really thinking we continue to dump until Grayscale stops selling off. I can't believe FTX is the only one dumping from Grayscale. I mean, you're probably right about that, but we just don't know when they're going to stop. I mean, plus all the technicals are still saying we're going to be bearish. But, you know, if you want to go off of the daily order block, that was all the way down here at 36,000, this bottom of the range. You also see maybe by the time we come down here, maybe it'll probably be a little bit faster. I don't know, maybe. We are going to be looking at this 200 daily moving average. But look at the weekly. You know, if you want to start seeing something more of an aggressive flush that brings us down below 36,000, watch to see what happens over the next 2 weeks as we approach the 20-week moving average. Historically, when we do break down below it, it's not the best of times, but you know, when we break above it, that's a pretty nice time. But like here, this is a recent one. The week that we broke down below it, Bitcoin went down like 6%. We have this one, but I mean, sometimes it's just hard to think that Bitcoin's going to fall down 14% in a week. I really hope it doesn't. You know, we broke down below here, but that was FTX, so it's a little bit more difficult. Broke down here, that was pretty large. Broke down here, pretty large. Broke down here, pretty large. We don't really break down below the 20-week moving average much, right? Broke down there. We don't find many opportunities to break down below it. So, but if we do, that'll probably be that large move that you're thinking about, and it'll be the FTX and Grayscale thing will be a huge factor, but it won't be the main factor, I would say. But it'll be a huge factor. Most of it's just like, okay, well, everything looks very bearish, so let's see what happens next. Let's go over here to the 15-minute chart just so we can kind of see what's going on. The breakdown has cooled off a little bit, I would say, but I'm still not that optimistic. I was just talking about maybe breaking out above the 20. I think it'll still try to do it and recoup some of the loss that we had today, but I don't know how much further we're going to be going up at this point. DCAing is the way. Definitely, just make sure you have your amounts correct. Let's see. Yeah, I don't mean you were ignoring the technicals. It's just the price has been completely fading. All the bearish signals on the chart. Oh, yeah. No, I didn't. I know you weren't talking about me. I was talking about other, say, Twitter people, TikTok people, YouTubers, whatever. And how they were thinking that Bitcoin was only going to go up over the next few days. But yeah, it would. How do I say this? I don't like being one of the only bearish voices in a bullish market when I see the technicals going in the wrong direction, right? But when this is one of the reasons I ended up creating the Telegram channel just like a couple weeks ago, because I've been noticing that if I see something's bearish and the bearish move happens, people always believe that just because we have a bearish move doesn't mean the bearish move is going to continue for weeks, when in reality, if the weekly chart's still bullish, you should have a pick back up moment that, keeps on going up and up and up over time. And so when I do these types of analysis and stuff like this, I think I just point out like, hey, it's bearish. Like for normally it's like, hey, bearish move, we'll be down for a little bit, but we'll pop back up. This is a weekly bearish event where it might take a few weeks for us to kind of fall, then a few weeks to balance out, then a few weeks to start chugging back up, and then a few weeks of really golden bliss. But we'll have to kind of wait and see how all that comes about. Honestly, guys, we just want some good inflation data. That'll spike Bitcoin up in a heartbeat. Have I been able to find a balance between my long-term portfolio and flip swings? I can't decide percentage for each. 70-30 is usually a good way to go if you're more conservative. 60-40 if you want to be aggressive. Anything kind of outside those is really crazy in my opinion, either way. This market is still a very good one. It's still been rolling pretty well. I'm scaling out a little bit more, so I've maybe been getting a little bit more heavy into dividend plays. And I had already been kind of heavy in dividend plays, but now I'm getting really heavy into them. And I'm looking for some barely profitable companies in the AI space or the tech space or the healthcare space, about the healthcare space, where I can be like, okay, let me see what's going on here. I can plop some money in here, and I'll be placing some more aggressive bets with less money, and then kind of keeping some more cash on hand. For maybe maybe at a month at a time while I'm doing some analysis. I pop that money in somewhere else and just kind of waiting for these breakouts and breakdowns to kind of play themselves out. At this point, tech is still on a tear, and I'm getting out of it slowly, but my tech money is really just moving into high dividend plays because that's where it's going to rest. And those dividend plays will probably last for about 2 to 3 quarters. After that, I'll probably pull them out and then reevaluate pretty much where the market is. If you go, well, you already know this, but if you just go to FinViz. Oh, that's finding my dog's lineage. I've been trying to find Loki's grandparents and stuff, and I did find one of Loki's grandfathers. He's a fluff ball. He's really cute. Okay, you go over here to Screener. Let me zoom in just a tad. Dividend over 5%. Country USA. Market cap, I just want it to be over 200. Over 200 billion for, we're talking about these dividend ones. So I pretty much just go through these and I try to find out some companies, see what's working. I try to use AI a little bit to give me a little bit of a historical how they've been doing. Are they worth investing in, things like that. But usually you don't go to the overview when you go to the charts one. All right. And you kind of see what's doing okay. American Assets Trust, you see if it's growing, if it's already kind of reached the top and so forth. And you kind of see which sectors you're looking at here. And this one right here, Arbden Income Credit Strategies Fund. This is only $350 million market cap. Was that what I said? No, I thought I said. Oh, I did under 200 billion. That's why I was like, what the heck is going on? Over 10 billion is going to be fine for now. Okay, here we go. You go through these lists and you kind of see what you want. Here's Chineri Energy Partners. This one's kind of been coming down for a while. I might look at this as an opportunity for another rally back up here in the end. That's a financial asset management. I don't like those too much. Devon Energy. I've been watching this one. It's been coming down for a while. I have a small position, but I'm thinking of adding more. Devon Energy has a 7% dividend here. But again, you see how it's kind of bottoming out right here over the last few weeks. I think you can. Right there. I'm thinking about stuff like that. But I haven't pulled the trigger on Devon Energy yet. I mean, I have some, don't get me wrong, but I'm being patient with it. Because there's other technology plays that I bought a long time ago that are not doing well. Like Lucid Group. Basically watching like a couple $1,000s go down the drain over like the last 3 years or something like that. What a monthly chart. Yeah, 2021. My dollar cost average and stuff like that. My average is maybe around like $8 now, but it's at $3, so that's not really a good average. But I pretty much just stopped putting money into it as I kind of wait to see what happens next. But I'm holding it. If I take the loss, taxes will do the rest. But yeah, it's definitely been a rough time. But 60-40, 70-30. Most of the time, it's stuff that I don't want to manage, or I think that hey, there's an opportunity for it to go higher, or hey, this is giving me some nice dividend plays. That'll go into the longer term portfolios. Shorter term is basically oh, I see all the oscillators on the weekly chart going bullish. Let's hold on for a few months and see where this goes. Because if you pull out those, and I'm talking about the mega caps, the larger caps, things that you would just know by name, like a Target, a Boeing, a Home Depot, the Home Depot. Over here very fast. So you see Amazon, right? See how there's a bullish sign, everything right here? This is back in November. You hold it a few months, it's higher. You sell it probably within the next month or two, honestly. And then you take that profit, you roll it around into something else that you see is going to be good. The hard part about this is sometimes when the market does start to falter a little bit, you find yourself holding more cash than you might otherwise like, because the bearish moves are kind of telling you, well, I don't like this, I don't like this. But, go to Apple, bullish moves happen back over here. This is one of those examples where it hasn't really gone high up. Right there, see? It's gone up, but I mean, come on, that's not really the type of up you're looking for. AMD, the buy sign came back over here. You're riding them up. Avgo, buy sign came in here. You're riding them up. Bank of America. I don't trade banks, but if you guys do, we had a breakout. Plus everything pointing bullish. Plus have changed of character. Ride that baby up. Usually there's even a change of character here, and it might go higher. I don't know, but you basically watch some of those weekly charts, like bearish right here. Oh, I better get out. If I have a position right now, I'm out. But if you get in right here, you're good. So in here, ride it up. You can sell the order block, which is normal. Or you can be like, I'll give it a chance and see if it breaks out. Oh, everything's turning bearish right here. Oop, I better get out. And you still made the money from here to here, basically, which is still fine, but it's not as much as if you just sold at the order block. CVS, buy signal right here, went higher. You figure out when you want to sell. So, everything's a little bit different. CVS is not tech. CVS and health has its own particular healthcare issues right now. Again, and on top of that, you have the buy signals. When you're looking at death crosses on the weekly chart, it changes your perception of how you're going to be doing this. Chevron, buy signal right here. It chugged up for a little bit before it hit some levels of resistance. Bearish move right here. Well, this was kind of mixed. I guess it turned bearish right there. Bearish move right there. It went down a little bit. So, even Disney just turned positive back over here, right? As much as I don't like Disney and their kind of new crazy stuff, you buy right there, you suffer for 2 weeks, but after that, you're good to go. That's how I kind of cycle through my plays. But it's not sexy. It's not really fun to watch. You're pretty much just kind of in this grind because the market's in a grind right now. Like we just turned bullish on everything as far as Google, but this one's kind of confusing because now we're getting to close to like this order block. Are we going to break out or not? Who knows? You got to pick the actual charts that look friendly to you. Something like this, it's not as friendly. Or something when we saw those death crosses a few charts ago, not as friendly. You got to be very picky about that. But that's how I usually rotate in and out of my positions. It helps out my retirement account immensely. But if the market starts to turn over as a whole and you start to see the indices, think of the index itself being another oscillator, if that makes sense, even though it's not going to make the most sense. You know, Dow Jones, everything's bullish right here. Stochastic is actually turning a little bearish, kind of more neutral at the moment. But the RSI is positive, the MACD is positive. As a whole, a lot of the stuff in the Dow Jones, you could imagine if you have those same bullish moves, going to be good. NASDAQ, stochastic is bearish, everything else is bullish. It's more neutral, but it's still fine. It's still going in the right direction, right? This is the GAN box we put on earlier. But you can still see everything bullish right here. You kind of do that grind, you do that chug, so to speak. So I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but that's a simple way that I found to make sure I do them. Maybe I'll make a long-term strategy on that. I'm in the process of making a day trading strategy with these oscillators. I think I'm just going to tweak the stochastic a little bit, and I'm going to tweak the MACD a little bit to see how it performs, while putting maybe the smart money concepts one on there again as well. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a little weird, but like for me, it's a momentum play. I don't necessarily, like when you saw those opening positions that you would have taken, they're not at the bottom. They're just kind of once the momentum kicks in. So you buy and you kind of just wait to see what happens. Sometimes it goes sideways, sometimes it goes down, but usually it ends up going in the direction up overall. But it can take some time. But if it's a long-term portfolio, that's the one thing you got. Hey Wolf, it's hard to day trade crypto because it takes days to move. The only way to really do it in a easier, profitable way is going to be using leverage. But leverage is something that you should learn before you actually go in there and try doing a 20x leverage or 30x leverage and stuff like that. And it's I would say 36,000 is definitely a safer spot to buy it. We'll be watching over the next few days, of course, just to kind of see what happens as we kind of test out the 38, 37, 36. 36, 37 should be a good opportunity there. Bitcoin's not necessarily having some very large dump. We're kind of having this grind down, which is kind of boring, but that grind down should lead to a dump once the weekly chart kind of gets kicked in here when everything is looking negative. But that's not until next week. So we might actually have a pretty good support, maybe at 38,000 or something, bounce up, and then we start getting really messy next week. So I'm kind of trying to thread a line here and thread a needle. Yeah, that's the way to say it, thread a needle, right? But we'll wait and see. But I think 36,000 is definitely a good spot to have some support, even have like an entry price in there at that point. I screwed up my position by not looking at weekly RSIs when things were overbought back in December, Christmas time. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Don't worry about it too much. Sorry, Loki's over here wanting scratches. Oh. Is that an Amazon truck? You're letting me know there's an Amazon truck right there? Oh, that's a mailman. Oh, that's just a mailman. Oh. He's letting me know there's a big old mailman outside and I should go do something about it. But yeah. Go back to that. That wasn't very nice. I got some treats from the vet, but he just saw one and he snagged it without permission. But anyway, just every now and again, you don't have to do it too often, which is the nice thing. But just every so often, just zoom out a little bit, and it helps you kind of absorb everything that's going on. I do it a lot because not all of you guys watch me stream every day. So sometimes I'm kind of like saying the same stuff over, especially if Bitcoin's not doing anything. But it's pretty much just to hammer those themes into you. But yeah, don't be afraid to zoom out. There's no harm in zooming out, honestly, because if your eyes can see that hey, we're going up overall, a lot of times what you'll notice happen is that's kind of the same feeling of an oscillator. I think that's why people sometimes don't they don't like technical analysis, because they're like, oh, the stock's going up, so I'll buy. They're not as profitable as technical analysis people, but mostly because they'll buy and they'll think everything's going to continue going up, but then it doesn't, and they're like, oh, I'll buy again, but then it doesn't go up, and they get caught in that trap. But, you know, zoom out a little bit. Even the monthly charts can give you some insights, but usually the weekly charts as far back as you really would have to go. Think it makes sense to add leverage positions or shift to spot only now? You could add leverage positions if you want to, but they have to be so small compared to your portfolio size that you're not going to be worried about the fees that, you know, reset every 24, 48 hours, whatever it is. And it's, you know, if that altcoin, so to speak, drops 50% in a day, you can't be worried that all of a sudden that somehow that's going to threaten your entire portfolio, if that makes sense. Even though, you know, a cryptocurrency falling 50%, it's not going to fall like that in one day. But as crazy as that sounds, like even a few, maybe about half an hour ago earlier, when I first started the stream, I was talking to guys about how I made a really dumb mistake. I was buying some more Fetch AI, and instead of buying it at 2x leverage, I ended up going long for like a long-term hold at 20x leverage. So when it fell down, obviously today, I lost a lot of money. I lost like $200 or something. But that $200 did not threaten the entirety of my portfolio, because if you're having a long-term leverage portfolio, which is a little bit more tricky because there are the fees associated with it, what ends up happening is it's most likely going to be placed in a certain category. Let me figure out what it is. I always forget this term when I really shouldn't. Cross leverage. Yeah, it's going to be cross margin mode. And basically that just means that if your positions are kind of losing, but everything overall is above float, your account isn't getting liquidated. But if you have everything isolated, then of course, if it goes down a certain amount, your single position can be liquidated. I typically will have everything crossed because I have enough money on the side. Like my whole portfolio isn't all cryptocurrency. There's a lot of cash on the side to kind of mitigate some of those ups and downs that you may see in the market. But you can definitely add on there. Just be careful with it. Leverage positions always kind of more risky. Everything looks pretty bearish at this point. Hopefully we get a bump though, but you know, it's still bearish. Hey, Mr. Yeah, the price has definitely been wacky. But that's what makes it so difficult right now, right? I forget the guy's name. I think his name's Andy or something. He comes in every now and again, and he was talking smack. Let's just call it smack about how I was wrong about Bitcoin breaking down below this level because we had this type of move, and I understand it. I do, but then you know, if the long-term technicals are still there, they're still there. You can't fight those ones necessarily unless we have some type of news or something. And then the technicals will usually end up winning. But you're right. The road we are taking to get there is very ugly, and it's shaking out a lot of people. A lot of people are getting shaken out right now, which, you know, it sucks because you want to be able to open a position, watch the trade move in the direction you think it's going to move, and then take your profit. But what's happening is you're making a trade, your stop loss is hitting, and then it eventually hits the same price target you wanted in the first place, but your stop loss got hit during the process, which is irritating to say the the least here. Irritating to say the least. Oh man. When things are going up, people get very emotionally invested. Oh heck, I get emotionally invested. I want to see Bitcoin going up. Hey, veteran, Tesla good play? As far as Tesla's concerned, where's Tesla at? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's breaking down. Tesla's breaking down, so be careful with it. Is this a daily chart? Was this set up on a daily chart? Let's just double check that it's breaking down. Where's that midpoint? Yep. We had a breakdown a couple days ago, and it's moving down even now. Everything's bearish on the daily. Everything's bearish on the weekly. Tesla might be facing some headwinds. I would say right now, actually don't think of this breakdown as being the biggest thing. We're just channeling down at this point. And then when Tesla manages to break out, if it manages to break out of this soon enough, I would say that's a better opportunity to buy into it. But at this point, you're seeing everything kind of looking pretty nasty. 4-hour chart. You're seeing some bullish moves in here. We're trying to hold off on this order block, it looks like. Maybe you could do a day trade or two if we manage to break out over the next 2 to 3 days. That could be a fun day trade here. Might have to double down and look at some option flow data, though. That's the way I would look at it. And then maybe if we manage to break back above. But, oh, yeah, you can look at the 4-hour chart. We're breaking down with these death crosses. Last 2 death crosses obviously didn't go over well. These ones probably not going to go over well. Not going to go over well. It's not going to go over well. Yeah. Okay, obviously, yeah, it didn't go over well. So be careful with Tesla right now. It's having some issues. I don't know exactly what's going on with it. I would probably check out the news. Or FinViz if you don't want to check out the news. Stellantis just predicted a major bloodbath for Tesla stock. Here's why. Rivian stock down 30% this month. It was just downgraded. Tesla stock bull cuts price target ahead of earnings as global EV momentum stalls. Yeah. Poor economy, less people buying cars, yada yada yada. Global EV slowing down, things like that. But yeah, it's a little bit worrisome right now as far as Tesla's concerned. Watching the chart, I had to wait for everything to get a little more bullish here. The last time everything was in alignment, though, was oh god, that was all the way back over here. And see, this again, this is one of the reasons I don't like trading Tesla too much. I'm not the best at it. Just while I'm giving this information, I've been pretty adamant over the years that I just am not the best at trading Tesla, because look at this. Everything technically from momentum wise is actually good. Look at this. Green, green, green. We're kind of having a change of character versus over here. But what happens? We go sideways forever and then we break out. Everything is still positive, I guess you could say. Plus it's a change of character here. But even if you buy here, you're only looking at maybe a few weeks of good stuff. It moves too fast. It doesn't have this nice gradual move where you can hop on, add more, it moves too fast for me. The daily chart, however, you can see the bullish sign right here, boom, straight up. Bullish sign right here, straight up. But those are just a few weeks of holding. It's not necessarily quarters where you want to see like a monthly chart. Remember, a quarter is just going to be a few months. A quarter right there, 4 months, 4, 8, oh my god, 3, 4, 3, 6, 9, 12. I'm so sorry, my brain is off today. You know, but that's a quarter right there, nothing happened. This quarter finally had a pop, that quarter nothing happened, this quarter nothing happened. Right? We're back to where we started. I don't know, you got this quarter we went down, this quarter we went kind of sideways, maybe up a little bit overall, but not really well. Quarter down, quarter, what do you call that? It's just a very volatile stock, and my technicals don't really work with that volatility. But yeah, at this point in time, we're breaking down below the 50-month moving average, which hasn't really been a terrible thing in the past. Maybe it's kind of been a bottoming out effect, but you know, we're going to have a death cross here on the monthly chart, which Tesla has never seen before. Weekly charts, looking at another death cross incoming. Death cross really isn't the biggest thing when it comes to Tesla. We had one over here, but that was like what? Oh, that wasn't 2020. 2020 was over here. Oh, yeah, during that little event. But you are looking at some bearish moves happening. Again, not the end of the world, just not the best for right now, I would say. Well, next couple of days, you might actually see a bit of a bounce off of Tesla, but besides that, I'm a little bit more concerned over the next few weeks. Are we still doing the 1 billion from Saudi Arabia this week? Anyone? I have no idea what that is. Maybe. Might be kind of fun, but I don't have $1 billion from Saudi money. Tesla on the monthly looks like it's about to shit the bed. Yeah. See, I would say that, but Tesla just doesn't do what I think it's going to do. So I just don't trade it all too much. Last time I made a lot of money trading Tesla was when it was very easy to trade Tesla, which was back in 2021 during the kind of crazy bull market. Everybody was really happy. We had a massive breakout, and then everything was fine. You know, but Tesla, you know, you saw that weekly chart. I like for the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, everything to be in straight alignment, and I'll put a lot of money there, and it'll make me a lot of money. Tesla doesn't give you that nice red carpet approach to trading. You have to be a little bit more aggressive. You have to wait for it, and I think that's why you see so many of these companies buying such long-term options, because you can see which way it's headed, but at the same time, it's like you don't know when it's going to get there. You just have to buy options so far out that you have a good idea. Now, daily charts, they work sometimes, but sometimes news is bad and things like that. If I go over here to, let's see. Up-a-doo. Oh, no, never mind. I was going to try to show you something, but I can't find it. And hey, the real transporter, happy to see you back. I leveraged Doge at 75, exit tanked. Yeah, you got to be very careful of that. I'll say something that some Dogecoin holders don't like, but I've been saying this for over a year. Dogecoin likes to have these pumps and then it dumps. Now, I think Dogecoin, again, is going to go up fine in the long term. But when you trade it, you got to be very, very careful because it has these really good pumps that are really lovely pumps. They're really nice. But eventually it just drops. So you got to have that stop loss moving up along with the price action. Oh, we'll see what Tesla's earnings are going to be as well. Discount code. That's actually a really good point there. And hey, Alberto, what's up, man? Any good cigars you have smoked lately that you can recommend? Actually, I had a few good ones here. So let me pull up my phone. I had my first Cuban cigar the other day, and I have to say it was delicious. It was one of my favorites. That one itself is probably not something you're going to be able to find, but it's called a Bolivar Bellicoso Fino. I think that's what it was. It's very, very good. Let's see. There was two other ones I smoked. I smoked another Padron 1926 Series 90th anniversaries. They're a little pricey. They're like, they normally run about 25 to 28 bucks, but they're very good if you can get one. They're not terribly hard to find. They're just kind of expensive, and I don't think people should really pay that much for cigars unless you like it, and I know I like that one. Fuente Hemingway Signature is a good way to go. They're not too expensive. They're under 20 bucks. Fuente Hemingway Signature Sun Grown is my favorite out of those. But you can get the non-sun grown if you want as well. And then there's a classic and there's a signature. They're all worth trying. They're all very good. And then let me see, what else did I get? A Tatawahe Kahonu. I can't pronounce it. 2006. It was really, really good. Nice and chocolatey. I think it was chocolatey. Then there was a Aganorsa. I'm so sorry with the pronunciation. Leaf from Nicaragua. It was a very good one. Anything else here? Oh, then a Cuatro Cinco. That one was really good too. Yeah, so I had more than a few of the past few days. I'm not smoking for a whole another week here because I smoked too much over the weekend. Football games and stuff. I'm gonna go watch the 2 NFC games over there next week. That'll be nice. Well, I'll just watch the afternoon one. The morning one, I don't want to leave Loki at home for such a long time. I put on like the doggy stuff on the YouTube channel. He loves it, but I just, I'm gonna. I don't want to be alone for like 6-7 hours, something like that. But yeah, those are a few good ones right there. They're solid. I love them. But usually the one I'd always recommend is going to be the Fuente Hemingway series. It could be a classic signature, sun-grown, non-sun-grown. They're just really good cigars. I enjoy them quite a bit. Get a punch hole or maybe a V-cut. They work perfect for those. Can we do some TA on AVEX? Yeah, we can look at it very quickly here. I mean, AVEX looks a little more bullish than a few other things. It's just oh, I guess no. 15-minute chart made it look like it was doing fine. Oh, yeah, I guess we're just, yeah. I mean, we're bottoming it out a little bit. The 1 hour, yeah, I mean, we're bottoming out a little bit. You're seeing the stochastic kind of more in a neutral territory because it's going up and down here. RSI is positive. The MACD is trying to turn positive. I would say right now, having your stop loss is kind of around 29.31 would be fine if you're buying in here. You don't want to, give too much of a too much stop loss just in case it does decide to fall down even more throughout the rest of the day. The daily is still bearish. The 4 hour is still bearish. The weekly is almost bearish, just like Bitcoin. The weekly is almost all bearish. All right, so, oh wow, this thing popped up so fast. Of course, it's going to be coming back down. How much is it fallen down since the highs over here, though? Oh wow, it's down 40% in the last month. That's brutal. Okay, so you've had the death cross there. That's fine. Weekly, have you had anything right here? Okay, I would say keep a close eye on the 20. AVAX 20 usually is a level of resistance and support for it. Support, resistance until it broke out. Then it kind of just fell down. That was a Bitcoin falling down because everything was faked out right there. Big move here, big move there, support here. 20-week moving average, very, very important for AVAX. So just keep that in mind. Because you could bounce or you could crash. Either one is a very volatile move. All right. I would say at this point, though, if you just want to make it simple, right around here, around 25 bucks seems to be a good opportunity to really try to buy in a good amount. At the bottom level here, you might be thinking of something a little bit different. Let me move this over here. You can see more of the middle points, not the bottom very much, but over here, kind of around the 21, let's say, to 1950 level. That's also a good spot. Let me just see if I can try to find another spot here. Lucky. This is interesting. Once it breaks down, it usually has a hard time coming back up. Breaks down, comes back down here. No, but this one wasn't too bad. So you're pretty much at a Fibonacci level right now. That next one matches up with this one. So you might have another opportunity way back over here around $24.50. But just in case, let me do the double here just to see if there's anything else here as far as those support levels. What I was trying to do. Okay, so now we have a little bit. Now you can see where that other line came in right there, the other Fibonacci level. Okay. I mean, maybe between 25.54 and 24.42. We can get rid of this other level of resistance right there. Let's stick with the fibs. That could be a first level if you wanted to go in there. Down here, I mean, Bitcoin would have to be going down for weeks and weeks to get all the way back down to 20. Because again, if we start heading back down to this order block, that means the price from now till then will come down like another 30%. Which, I mean, it could definitely happen after a stock has moved this much. But honestly, I'd be much more interested in buying in and getting more positions kind of around that $25 to $24 range. Anything below that to me is kind of like a cherry on the top. Because again, I don't think Bitcoin's necessarily going to be going back down to like crazy low levels, like 20,000, stuff like that. Whatever we're looking at now is just a prolonged bearish move that we should end up having a pretty good bullish move coming out of it. That's a weird way of saying nothing, actually. This is all just kind of a large loading zone for us to buy more crypto because overall, we're still in an overall bullish trend. That bullish trend should last for at least another few quarters. So no matter what time you're buying here, you're still going to be looking good. And these types of moves should be fairly healthy to kind of buy back into. I mean, Bitcoin managed to get back above that 20 here. At least that's kind of something. I'd like to see us try to have a pop up today. Like one of the things that we've been talking about over the past half an hour is how Bitcoin can tell you it's bearish, but the way it's getting there is very unorthodox right now. So you could actually see a pop happening today, which would feel kind of weird, I know, but again, it's one of those markets where you just day traders are getting shit on. It's not the best. Hey, maximum profit. I think trend change, so selling until 34,000 and then buying from there. Dude, that's the low end. That's a really low end of my range, but it pretty much depends on how much further these weekly charts take us. I would say there are some support levels down there. I'm gonna start buying around like $37,000. Start buying in a little bit more heavily if we come back down to 36 and break down below that. And then if we do manage to come down to 34,000, I won't really be buying up too much Bitcoin. I'll be buying up a lot more altcoins because during that process, you are going to see altcoins shit the bed. They're going to be terrible. Absolutely terrible. Hey, is HBAR dead? I don't know. I don't pay attention to HBAR all too much. This is on Bybit. Bybit? Okay. Monthly chart. I mean, since the lows of FTX, it's up about 98%, so it's not terrible. It was up 185%. The daily chart break down below support. It just broke down below the Fibonacci level here. What are we looking at though? Oh, this is an extension. It's not even a good extension. I probably did this on the weekly chart. That's probably why. All right, so let's go over here then. Weekly chart. Let's go from this trend. Yeah, that explains it. You're looking at some support kind of hovering around 0.0646, 0.06746, excuse me. That kind of matches up with some of the resistance levels. Can you see this? Yeah, you can see this. Some of the support levels we have over here, old resistance, now support, basically. So it's there. But if Bitcoin does have this multi-week thing, you're probably going to see it come all the way back down to 0.0615. So just be careful with it. It's not necessarily dead, but it's giving back a lot of the gains it made over the past few months. That's okay. We've kind of been through this cycle before, so it's not terrible, but it's definitely not fun to watch at at all here. And hey, the real trades for that cigar looks, man. Yeah, what do you call? What I've been doing is I've been posting them on Twitter. Let me see. I'm trying to post more on Twitter. I see like a lot of the people I know on Twitter, they try to post for they try to post to get more followers. I'm just posting to have a vibe. I'm giving up on getting a lot of followers on platforms like TikTok and Twitter. I deleted my TikTok account. All I see on TikTok these days is a whole bunch of shopping ads, and I cannot stand it. So I gave up on TikTok, which is crazy because TikTok is designed to make you an addict. ADHD probably was like, no, I'm not enjoying myself. There's no pleasure there anymore. But basically, right here, enjoying the Chiefs win with a lovely Bolivar Bellicoso Finos. This is the Cuban cigar. You can even see some of the embers right there. It was delicious. Packers. Oh, here are some of those cigars. This is a $20 cigar. It's just because, it's a lounge. They up the prices, basically. I think you can get it for cheaper. If you go to cigar page, I would buy a 5-pack of them if you really want to get them. Or you can go to like your local place and see if they have any deals. But if you go with the Padron 19, right here, 90th anniversary. Natural. Oh, it's sold out. It's a really good cigar. But the Maduro ones, which are a little bit just darker, that's like $20 a pop, a little over, like maybe $21 a pop after tax and everything. Not bad. And I think they're shipped from like Philadelphia or something. So if you're on the East Coast or Midwest, it's a lot easier. I live out in Washington State, so they take a minute. So I don't really buy from Cigar Page anymore, or most of these places. But you'll definitely have a cigar shop by you that they'll have these in there. No worries. But they're very good. They're very, very good. They have this 90th band right there. 90th band. They just happen to be a little bit more pricey. But they're good. And this is the Fuente one. Do I have any more of the other cigars? No. Fours. Oh yeah, see? Hemingway Classic. So the other one was a Hemingway Signature Sungrown. This is a Hemingway Classic Sungrown. See the difference? Just a little bit of a difference right there. And you can see Loki's little head right there. Looking outside on the balcony. I have a tree in my yard that it's like a tree, but it's like I have ivy that's grown, and the ivy is grown to the top of the tree, so you can barely see the tree branch at the very top, and it's just completely ivy. It's been growing for a long time. But yeah, it's been chill. Yeah, no worries, Wilder. Happy to help you out. Bitcoin really killed all the sellers at the top. I mean, this market has been very unpredictable and very annoying. Oh, like I haven't been able to give you guys my precise, like, oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's been much more difficult, and I don't like that. Because that means I'm not, like, remember how the last few weeks I'm just like, okay, I see we're going bearish, guys. I see it. I see it. I can tell you guys why we're going down. But I myself couldn't pull the trigger on it. And even when we were bouncing and stuff, I only pulled the trigger on buying one time. I got burnt, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just kind of wait and see. There'll be other opportunities for me to make a bunch of money. Right now, why am I going to risk it when I'm not doing a good job of it? So it sucks because I hate it. Because, again, you go to Twitter for the past, before we had these drops, everybody was like, oh, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon. And I was like, yes, the moon is an opportunity. There's a possibility right now. But as soon as something happened on the SEC announcement, I was like, technicals are going to be so much more important now, because technicals weren't so important leading up to the event because of everything going with the spot Bitcoin ETF. I think it just took people a little bit of time to realize, like, whoa, without the spot Bitcoin ETF, technicals now matter. Because, again, for the past few months, technicals did not matter, which was the annoying thing for people like me who like to short and go long, but, you know, you go short for a short period of time. So it was very, very much of a painful experience. Never had TikTok, but I love a good cigar. I'll be putting. I need to change up that other cigar channel. I'm working on it later on tonight. Actually, no, tomorrow. And I'm changing the name from Cigar Meets Ledger because I'm not going to put finance into it. I'm just going to make it be the Smoke Show. Probably be the name of it. And then from there, I'll be smoking cigars, letting you guys know what I think about them. I'll be reading off the notes, but I will not. I don't know how to flavor profile cigars properly. Like, there are a few flavors I know, like earth, leather, hay. If you've been on a farm, you know what hay smells, kind of tastes like. And then the other one might be chocolate. Chocolate is a very good flavor. Cocoa, you know, but they're notes. They're not like, you're not like eating chocolate. Although some, you really do feel it. But yeah, I'm going to be updating that. I'm hoping to record a bunch of videos actually this week. Because I'm going to be doing like one cigar, maybe I smoke 2 cigars this weekend, but because I smoked so much this weekend, I'm probably not going to smoke until Saturday or Sunday, something like that. But that should be fine. Too much up, it's just correction. Yeah, exactly. I was ignoring. Okay, buddy, I'm going to call it a night right now. I got to go back to watching Loki. I will stream a lot more tomorrow, but basically, like, Loki's kind of he's like kind of awake, happy at times, but then he gets like really tired, and I'm just kind of like being mindful of what he's doing. Like right now, he's like sleeping, but if I go over here to this, he heard me talk about him, so he's right back here. So up. But you kind of like see how he's like not all energy. Oh, he's going for the treats. He's being sneaky. He's not even trying to say hi to me. He's just going for the little treats. Yeah. But yeah, I want to watch him and make sure he's doing fine. He had a little bit of heavy breathing earlier, which concerned me, which is the main reason I'm a little bit more concerned now than I was earlier. But he seems to be okay. He's going to get the last few treats so he doesn't have to steal them. Maybe if I look away, he'll like pop up and, yeah. Hey, did I tell you can have a treat? No. 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 See, he's a good boy when I tell him not to. Okay. Yeah, okay, he had like 4 vaccines today, so he had like a shot each of his, like, one arm here, one hip, and one hip. So I was like, dude, okay, I'm sorry. So he's taking a little bit of he's a little bit sore, but see, he wants to play, but I can't play with him too much. I'm just giving him his toys, so I'm not supposed to have him be running around and doing stuff. All right. Oh, hey, DZ. Before I go off here, how I feel about honey? I don't know what honey is. Is that a token? Hive mapper tether? Hey, DZ. Is honey tether? Is that? No worries, Mr. Gwyn. Happy to see you back, and you as well. But DZ, I'll answer your question very fast. Is honey is that a cryptocurrency? Just let me know, because I honestly have no idea. I've never heard of honey. Honey USD by Coinbase. This is not the right chart for it. Coinex, there we go. It looks like it's a newer token. Double check. Oh, there's a few honeys, but I would say the 294 honey is probably what you're talking about. All. No, it launched back in 2022. It was down a lot. It's pumped back up quite a bit here. Okay, so I can't find the technicals basically because it's not on TradingView the way I'd like it to be. At this point, I'd make sure it doesn't drop down below like 18, 17 cents, because if it does, it's probably heading all the way back down to like 16. Then we start thinking about 13, which could be a real big flush moment for this. I might dollar cost average into it a little bit. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can't find any information on it, but I might dollar cost average into a little bit. But you're not really looking at too much good news here for a little bit. All right. Okay, but everybody, I'll see you guys a little bit later. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you have a question, DZ, let me know and I'll answer next stream. Okay, thanks.